Hey, what's going on, people? I have a quick little story that I need to get out real quick, but this is a something that's old, but I'm being told to talk about it now. This happened around 2011. Around 2011 when I was living in my home state. I was actually driving down a street with my friend named Arch Street. If people know me and you're from my area, then you know which street I'm talking about. It's a long ass road that really don't have too much around it, but pretty much like industrial rocks and wooded area. It's almost like it's by a train track, so it's a lot of gravel work up in this area. You know what I mean? But it's like a long stretched road. And it's pretty much just like a, one lane highway or two lane, car on each side type stuff. So you really can't go around other cars unless you're just in a hurry and, that type of shit. So apparently I was leaving from my family's house and I was on my way to my cousin's house, you know what I mean, on another side of town. And so I decided to take Arch. And I'm riding with my friend, and I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm smoking a blunt. She wasn't smoking. I was smoking a blunt, and driving that way. I don't do it now, so I can talk about it now. She can't get me now. But anyway, it's like this. I'm driving, you know what I'm saying? And something just point my attention to look up over, because I'm seeing something floating, but it's going the same pace while I'm driving. It was like something was hovering, and it wasn't directly over my truck. It was hovering kind of like where I could lean forward like this, you know what I'm saying, and look up, and I'm like, what is that? And I asked my friend, did she see it too? And she said, yeah. Because what it was, to me, it looked like a fucking UFO. But, and the military, they play with a lot of different stuff, and we don't know what's really going on, so I didn't know what to say. But when I looked up, what you saw was a triangle, yes, but it didn't look like an actual triangle like this. It looked like a Mercedes-Benz symbol. So it had like a line and lines, but it was like a triangle, but it was like lines. In the center of these lines, like, well, not in the center, but pretty much in the middle, you could see lights, but the lights wasn't turned on. You can see where the lights would have been if they would have turned on, though. The light dimmed, it had like a redness to it, but the lights wasn't on. But you could see a huge area in the middle where there should have been like a red light. And there was other little specks around the edges where the, like almost like where the wingtip would probably be at the tip of the where these little stretches was. It looked like Mercedes-Benz signs, I really don't know how to explain this too well, so I'm doing it the best that I can. So apparently I'm driving and I'm looking up, and this thing is you don't hear it. It doesn't sound like a plane. You don't hear anything. It's silent as hell. And there was no wind blowing. Mind you, okay, on this side of the road, there was the tracks. And on this side of the road with the tracks, it was like field and other shit, But on this side of me on the road, there was woods. Nothing but woods. I don't even know what's on the other side of those woods, but I just know that the woods are cluttered. To me, anyway. I'm not going to go through them. So it's like this thing was hovering. I'm driving at least, speed limit like 40. Once again, I'm not perfect. Knowing me, I was probably going like 50, 55, something like that. But whatever this was going right along with my truck. You know what I'm saying? It was literally hovering, and I'm moving. This thing doesn't look like it's moving. It just looks like it's floating along with my truck. So I asked my friend again, like, are you sure you see this? And she was like, yeah, I see it. But she kind of was quiet about it. She wasn't as excited as I would have been, well, as I was about it. So I'm like, shit, you know. And so now I'm starting to look for a place, because my little nosy ass, you know what I'm saying, I'm starting to look for a place to see where I can pull over to get a better look at this thing, because this thing is hovering, is silently hovering over us, and it's almost like it's riding along on the side of the road, but it's not over the road. It's like, it was weird, yo. So I finally found the little gravel area. Now it's a street called, and some people know it. If you know me, you know where I'm from, you know this street. It's called 65th Street. And on Arch, you got 65th Street that comes up, and it turns off to the right. Especially if you're coming from where I'm coming from. You're coming from the other way, it turns off to the left. But I'm coming from not the Little Rock area, the other area. So you know where I'm at. Or it was. Anyway. So now it's like, as I'm getting ready to, you know, because I'm slowing down. I start slowing down because I see an area where I can kind of pull off and get a better look. I can stop my truck. You know what I'm saying? So right, it seemed like right when I was getting ready to pull over into this area, this aircraft decides to go ahead and fly over, you know, on the other side of the street over us. And when I say that motherfucker went into the woods, I was confused. I stood there. I got out my truck, and I want to say I stood there for maybe 6 or 7 minutes trying to figure out how the hell did that just happen. You know, because when I say that this craft went into the trees, yo, it went into the trees. And there was, no, the trees didn't, it was like, almost like it invisibly went into the trees, yo, because the trees did not blow. It, you know, like, how did it go into the trees? But it literally, it eventually just decided to stop hovering, and it literally decided to fly off. And when it did, it looked like it could have been going down, not going up. You know what I'm saying? It went into the trees. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, because once again, there was no sound. There was no wind. The trees didn't blow. It seemed like, you know, how is that even possible? So, you know, I decided to, we went on to my cousin's house, you know, and I called the dad that I thought was my dad at the time, and I let him know, like, bruh, I just seen a UFO, you know, and he asked me, did I call the news or anything, and I was like, nah, you know, and he was like, good, don't, you know what I'm saying, because it was almost like they gonna come get your ass, don't do that, you know what I'm saying. I'm like, whatever. But it really did, and to be honest with you, it really did seem like there was a lump of time that disappeared, even though I have no real proof of the time like that. It just seemed like time was lost, because from the time period, because it didn't take long for me to get from point A to point B. Even if it was on the other side of town, I move quick. You know what I'm saying? The people, if you know me, I move fast. You know, so from point A to point B, it doesn't take long for me to get there. That was like almost an hour to an hour and a half of time. Because by the time I made it to my cousin's house, I did look at the time and was like, where did it go? You know, I'm not going to sit up and act like somebody got abducted and all of that shit. The lights wasn't even on this craft. But you could definitely see it. Like, if I could draw it out, I definitely could draw it out. But it didn't look like that triangle UFO. It was not like a flying saucer. It wasn't round. It was definitely a triangle shape. But it had even wings that made a triangle. And the lights were off, but the lights underneath it was red. I definitely did a lot of checking to see if there was any types of aircraft, you know, different types of aircraft that maybe I just didn't know anything about, and I couldn't find anything like it. So, you know, if anybody knows what I saw, holler at me and let me know what I saw. But like I say, this was somewhere around like 2011, you know, so it was a long time ago, yes. But it doesn't mean that I didn't see it. It doesn't mean that the person that was riding with me didn't see it. If I talk to her today, I'm pretty sure she'll still vouch for me and say the same thing, because 4 eyes is better than 2 in a situation like that. And I wasn't alone when I saw what I saw. So yeah, that part, you know, I don't have to sit up here and get on a camera and just get to talking about shit that's not true. You know, that's not what I'm about. So, but I am told to give this out, to like speak about this. And I know that I did that full moon reading and something about Arch came out. And, you know, I kind of thought, like, this crossed my mind, like, maybe it's time to speak about it. But, you know, I just kept on with that reading. But in this case right here, yeah, there was like a UFO or some type of Mercedes-Benz symbol floating in the sky. No sound, no nothing. It was like, almost like, it was just moving off of gravity, and everything else was silent. And I definitely don't know how the fuck it went into the trees without trees coming down, falling, you know, noise being made, whistling, wind blowing, trees moving out the way, something. You know what I'm saying? None of that. It didn't do any of that. Literally, when I say that it went in the trees, this motherfucking thing went in the trees. Yo, so yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Do something about it. Anyway, like, subscribe, and share. I'll let you later. I just wanted to give you that little piece of advice or information. Bye.